As I've mentioned, behaviors that trauma-affected students use to navigate their school experience may be maladaptive to school, but they once served those students an important purpose. A great place to start when thinking about trauma-informed behavior management is to recognize that trauma-affected students' current behavior is the product of experience. The best way to help these students form new behaviors is by partaking in a different type of experience. What I'll outline in this video is a step-by-step approach to helping students find replacement behaviors to their former maladaptive ones, and what else you can do to help them experience behavioral success. What is a replacement behavior, and how can we help students foster the development of such behaviors? So, behaviors serve a purpose, right? Well, replacement behaviors are behaviors that can serve the same purpose as maladaptive behaviors, but that are appropriate and productive. For example, a student lying on the floor refusing to do his work is a maladaptive behavior. The purpose that behavior serves may be that he is tired, hungry, or angry and cannot focus on the work, but he doesn't know how to express that. A replacement behavior may be to identify and share that he is tired, hungry, or angry, and to work together to come up with a solution. Replacement behaviors take time to identify, and lots of time and lots of attention to actually replace old behaviors. Here's one way to develop them with students. Important disclaimer: do not attempt any of the following steps while a student is escalated. They will not be able to reason through a complex thought process and will likely not take much away from the conversation. When we're talking about students who have been affected by trauma, we can think of the students in the class who may become escalated, who may have what we call blowouts. What I'm saying here is to be sure not to try reasoning with the student and problem solving with the student while they're escalated or during a blow-up. Wait until that behavior has subsided, they've calmed down, and then reason with them. Then you can process the incident. Step 1. Have students help you identify the characteristics and sources of the problem behaviors. This means you proactively work one-on-one with the student to chat about what they do sometimes that can make it difficult for them to be successful socially, behaviorally, emotionally, and/or academically. This is a preventative measure. This is something that is put in place way before these behaviors become another problem. This is a preventative measure. Use step 1 as a proactive approach to starting to help students identify what is going on. Make sure that this isn't as much of a reaction as a response or a proactive activity. Step 2. Identify the purpose the behavior serves. Help the student understand if the behavior is prompted by physical discomfort, emotional experiences, a social interaction, confusion with the content or expectations, or something else. Step 3. Come up with alternative, or as we're calling them, replacement behaviors that serve the same purpose and are appropriate and realistic. Make sure to come up with several options. A replacement behavior for anger outbursts might be asking to take a quick walk, listening to a quick meditation, or playing with a fidget toy for 5 to 10 minutes. A replacement behavior for antagonistic behavior is for the student to instead tell the person how they're feeling or draw them a picture. They can show it to the teacher to check for appropriateness and then give it to the person they're struggling with. It also helps to identify when and where problem behaviors occur. Replacement behaviors could also look like a student keeping busy during transitions or having a peer help them organize their binder or backpack. Step 4, practice. Steps 4 and 5 are where the brain can begin to change if the work is ongoing. Students get to make mistakes during these steps. They learn what strategies work versus which ones make them even more upset or anxious. Students will need the most help with steps 4 and 5. It is important for teachers to understand the signs of approaching problem behaviors and have a system with students for helping remind them to use replacement behaviors without making them more agitated. Step 5. Process and reflect to determine the degree to which the replacement behavior was successful. Have another one-on-one conversation with the student. Talk through the situation together. Recap what worked and what didn't. Develop a plan for next time. Step 6. Repeat. Use this process to strengthen your relationship with the student. Be consistent diligent, and predictable. Use positive reinforcements throughout the process to strengthen the connections in the student's brain with their behavior and any positive outcome. Ideally, when done well, this process results in students having more autonomy over their own behavior and increased successes in school. This can help them build confidence and their skill set in navigating the social, behavioral, and emotional demands of school. In the final slide of this video, I'll explain other supports to put in place in your classroom and in your school to support all students, but especially those who have been impacted by trauma. More supports include: provide a safe place for students to take space away from the group. Allow students access to meditation. Consider incorporating mindfulness into the daily routine for all students. Teach about how the brain works and how the fear response can impact thinking. Teach students to get moving when they're worked up. Walking, stretching, jumping, and other movements can help regulate the fear response. Nurture a strong, caring relationship through meaningful conversations. Ask to hear their perspective. Listen as well as you possibly can. Rephrase their thoughts back so they know you're hearing them and they can clarify their own thoughts and feelings. Value their opinions. Ask them what they want to have happen. Pay attention to possible triggers for all students and attempt to mitigate them. Notice when students are visibly agitated and intervene by providing an outlet. Let's recap what was covered in this video. I shared a method for replacing problem behavior with appropriate behavior and several other supports that can make the learning environment more trauma-informed. In the next video, I will share several considerations to apply what we know about trauma to instructional design.